Good morning, boys and girls. Happy Monday. I hope you're having a fantastic morning. Well, today we're going to get started on our math lesson, and we are starting on a different lesson. We're on lesson 31, session 1. So, right now, go grab your math book if you haven't already. And we are going to get started on a new concept this week. We are starting on arrays. We're going to add using arrays. So you might think, Miss Yanis, what is array? Your mind might be blown like my Bitmoji down here. So, an array, we're going to learn more about what it means and what they are. But an array is a set that shows equal groups in rows and columns. I really stressed equal last week, so you should know what equal means. So, an array is a set that shows equal groups in rows and columns. So, our learning target for today is we're going to use addition to find the total of number of objects arranged in arrays. And those arrays are going to be in rows and columns. So get your learning hats ready because we're going to get started. So we're going to start, we're not going to get started until you go and watch the arrays video. This is a really great resource and video for you to use. So right now you're going to push pause, and if you push play or if you push on this picture of arrays, you can go straight to BrainPop and watch the video on arrays. So right now, pause this video if you have not yet and go watch arrays. When you are all ready, come back. We're going to get started on our start problem. So here we go. How many squares were used to tile each rectangle? Explain how you found your answer. So we're going to explain, but before we get started, here are our tiles. Our tiles are these little squares on this one and this shape. So this is two shapes. So let's look at the first one. How many squares were used to tile each rectangle? So this whole is a rectangle. Well, let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and how many? 5. Okay. Well, let's look at this next one. I want you to think how many squares were used to find or to tile this rectangle. Okay, how did you find your answer? How did you find the number? Well, let's see. I can have one, I can count one by one, but it takes a long time. Watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Did you find 6? Well, there's 5, and then here's 6. But there's a different way. Did anyone circle these two right here and say 2, 4, 6? Count by twos. Did anyone count 3, 6? 3 plus 3 is 6. Doubles. Ooh, we're using our doubles facts or repeated addition. 2 plus 2 is 4 plus 2 more is 6. That's a faster way, right? So let's be thinking about arrays and how we can use arrays to count faster or add faster. Here's our try it. Try it. Remember, we're just trying what we know and what strategies we have or what we know from past lessons. So let's get started. Rod's team has shelves for their hats. How many hats are there in all? So what is the problem about? Rob's team has shelves of hats. Okay, they have hats on shelves. What are you trying to find out? Let's look at that last. How many hats are there in all? Okay, and what information is important? Well, if I look right over here, that picture is very important, isn't it? So your job right now is to find how many hats are there in all. I want you to remember counting one by one takes a really long time. So I want you to use a strategy to how to count those hats a little bit quicker using arrays, rows and columns. Go ahead and pause the video and count how many hats are there in all. All right, here we go. So we are trying it. So I want to kind of share how you solved it or how you added. Remember, our objective is we're going to add using rows and columns. We're going to use arrays. So let's see how Miss Yanis tried it. Did you count by fours? There's 4 hats there, 4 hats there, and 4 hats there. 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 4 more is 12. Did anyone count that way? Well, Did anyone count this way? 3, 3 and that, 3 and 3. Well, let's see. 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 3 more is 9, plus 9 plus 3 is 12. That was a lot faster than counting them one by one. So let's see. 4 plus 4 plus 4, each in row. And then we have 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. Did anyone try that way? Good. All right. Look back. Explain how you can find the number of hats in all. How did you find the number of hats? So Miss Yanis kind of explained 2 different ways you could have. Go ahead and pause the video and I want you to explain. Go find a teddy bear or an animal and go explain how you can find the number of hats in all. Remember to pause this video. All right, let's look ahead. This is my favorite because we get to learn a little bit more about arrays. So an array can be used to represent the number in the problem. So remember, our friend had hats on a rack, on a shelf. Arrays have equal rows that go across. You see my equal row that goes across? Okay. Arrays have equal columns that go up and down. So a row goes, let me do that again. In a row, arrays have equal rows that go across. So they go across. They also have rows that go up and down. Do you see my red matches with my across and my blue matches with up and down? It says circle one row and label it row. Okay, I circled a row. Oh, there's my row. And circle one column and label it column. So I circled a row and I labeled it row, and circle a column and label it column. Go ahead and pause the video so you know new vocabulary. You know what a row goes across and a column goes up and down. B, how do the number of hats in every row compare? So here we go. This is why we label. Look at the row. What's in a row? Every row has how many hats? Has 4. Okay, now look at the number of every column. So let's look at our column. We labeled them for a reason. We have, every column has 3 hats. Good. Did you notice that? Write an equation to show the total number of hats. So right now, I want you to write one equation, either using a row or a column. So you're going to write an equation using a row or a column. So go ahead and pause the video and write an equation either using a column or a row. Okay, did you write an equation using a row? 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 12. Or did you use an equation using columns? 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 12. And guess what? You came to the same answer. All right, let's reflect. Start exit ticket. Explain how the array represents the problem. Tell how the equation you wrote matches the array. So you can go back here. How does your equation match the problem? Or how does the equation match the array? So we used a row and an equation. How do they match? Well, I see that there are 1, 2, 3 rows and there are 4 in each. Or if we look at the column, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they each have 3 in each. So I'd like you to pause the video, go back and explain how the array represents the problem. Tell how the equation you wrote matches the array. All right, this is what Miss Yana did. Each row stands for one shelf. Each shelf has 4 dots, one for each hat. In the equation, each 4 shows one row of hats. The 12 shows the total number of hats. So if you explain it a little similar to mine, that's great. But if you explain it differently that makes sense to the problem, great job. Kiss your brain. And remember to pause the video at any time you need. And our last thing, our vocabulary. So, array, of course, our big theme for this week is array. So, in your own words, a set of objects put in equal rows and equal columns. Remember at the beginning of the lesson, we said an array has equal rows and equal columns. And now you know rows go across and columns go up and down. And right over here, my illustrations, this is important. So you remember a row goes across, column goes up and down. Examples, here we go. Here, remember, so 5 plus 5 plus 5. So they must have done row 5 plus 5 plus 5. How many in this array? 15. And now they did a non-example. This is not an array because it is not an equal group and it doesn't have rows or columns. All right, my friends, great job. If you need to go back, please watch that brain pop video. It is awesome. Great job.